Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to the Reign of Kings Roundtable. No, I am not official in any way, shape, or form with Reign of Kings, just a fan. And we've been playing, we have our own server, and if you're watching this on YouTube, details are below on how to join us. But really, what we want to talk about is what are some of the painful things going on in the game and possible solutions, and then we'll get into some ideas of what could make this game even better than it is. Currently, the game, up until yesterday when they published the ability to do whitelists, the game was awesome, and the bugs and exploits were awesomer. I know that's not a word. But anyway, it was a problem of that, we couldn't, it was almost unplayable, but we stuck with it because we liked the game. So, anyway, welcome, guys. Draval and Mr. Ekberg. Draval, if you'd like rights to speak, right-click on yourself and select Request Talk Rights. And anyone else is welcome to join us in here. So, anyway, the game so far, and the game is really good. So we've got something here in the game that is that makes this game a winner, and so making this game being a winner is it's why we're here, why we're playing, and but it's had some bad problems about it too. So, guys. If you want talk rights, right-click on yourself and select Request Talk Rights. So, Jay-Z, Mr. Ekberg, Tabal, Iron Bank, welcome.
Thank you.
So, how are y'all liking the game so far? Good? You sticking around?
Yep, awesome. Already formed a guild. Got the castle going. It's looking pretty nice.
Yeah, the anti-Marky Dragon Guild. But, what the hell?
That's correct. Gotta have healthy competition.
Right, we'll be going to war.
Or we could be your hired thugs.
Hired thugs, yes.
I'll be joining as a mercenary. Whoever pays the most will get me.
Oh, right, great. Okay, good thing there's no currency.
No, Venom will get you then.
So what kind of issues are you guys running into that really are just gameplay stopping issues? Are you guys running into anything like that currently?
Not at all.
Not being able to log into the lobby server.
Okay. So, and what's a possible solution to that?
Nothing we can do.
Support.
Yeah.
To not DDoS things.
Yeah, I understand that it's a DDoS is what they're saying it is. So
it's not really on them, I guess.
Yeah, and we can't, there's nothing that we can do other than, I am sure having the success that they're having, they're getting plenty of support from different places. Cloudflare for the win, if they aren't already using Cloudflare. That may be a good way to go. But yes, anti-DDoS stuff, which success brings on this dumb stuff like that. So, okay, I know we're having some other problems in the game as well. So, a couple of things. One is that when you're in battle with other people, you can't tell who's on your side and who's not.
That is something that I was thinking about when we had that little mini skirmish.
Yes.
You actually can.
That's a good point.
Okay, how do you tell?
If everybody joins the same group, then you can see the names and colors and banners over your head, but you can't see the opponents.
But it's not always there. It doesn't constantly
and you have
hover.
to be really close.
Yeah.
So for the archers and the spear throwers, it's really hard to tell what targets to go for.
Mm-hmm.
Especially at nighttime fighting, everybody looks the same. So it's real hard. I almost had to stand back a little bit and just wait for someone to come towards me that I knew was an enemy. So it was a little tricky.
I know that Jay-Z has those ape arms, and so that's how I knew to go after him. But yeah, I had a really hard time telling, and I was afraid that I was hitting some of the people on my own side. So, especially when they weren't in our guild or whatever group.
How are bows in this game? I haven't seen anyone use any yet.
Rezalon is the bowman. He's pretty.
Bows are pretty good, and in that instance where you can't see who they are until they get close, the bows you won't be able to tell until you hit someone and see the name of the damage that you just dealt.
So shoot first, ask questions later?
Yes. So I think that beyond so here's a possible solution to that, which would be beyond doing the guilds or whatnot, that maybe there's another sub thing of friendly, people that you're friendly with. Kind of like, some other games they have where you can send whether they're friendly or they're not, or they're neutral. And maybe it doesn't even need to show the name or anything. Maybe it just needs to show a little dot or chevron or something above their head, just indicating a color showing that they're their friend, or that you've marked them foe. Because maybe if somebody keeps coming along and attacking you, maybe you want to mark them as foe as well.
It could show the guild's banner on the chest and the back for teammates, for example.
I did think about that, and on their back, you only see that when they're running away from you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought about that on the chest too, but what about us naked guys that run around? So,
War paint.
War paint, exactly.
Chat has a really good idea, which is maybe they could add some dye or something that the army wears to stand out.
Yes.
So maybe you could all, throw a kind of hue on your armor or something like that. Use like flowers or something like that to
Just drop whatever right here. Sorry.
to you could use some flowers or something like that to make that stuff. So those are good ideas as well. So let's see, what other issues are we having in the game? Trees flying very far.
The bouncy trees.
Yeah, bouncing trees are funny though. The first time.
Yeah, well, as long as you're not standing on them when they bounce.
Or if you need wood like desperately and they just like fly down a bloody cliff.
Right.
So bouncing trees. That sounds kind of like the bouncing tanks when Battlefield 4 first came out.
I think that's just a simple physics fix on there, and maybe it's not simple, but that's probably. I don't know if I have any solution for that.
It should be pretty simple. They just need to add more mass to the tree. I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe.
Not being a programmer, I don't know the complexity of it.
I don't know it either, but I would guess.
Speaking about battles, though, a little bit in this game, what's really going to make this game fun is player-made events. I mean, it's great, you can build and craft and all that stuff, but what the players do on their own servers, whatever, regulated, is going to be the most fun. That's how we're going to have a blast, I think.
I think that that's not necessarily a problem needing a solution, but something for the second half of this when we talk about some of the really fun ideas that could be added to the game.
True, that's not a problem. Yeah, that's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mark, I got one. The trees, when you build a castle or whatever, the trees just spawn inside your house.
Lisa has died several times when a tree popped into the house and she swung at it and it fell over and crushed her. Or flung her up onto the ceiling or whatever. She died several times by a tree in one of her houses she had. So,
why are you building on top of trees?
well, you don't always know that they're there. But also, if you clear cut the land and you want to build something, I think you should be able to.
You should be able to add a mechanic to like salt that section of ground so it. Well, no, you can't really do that because that'll cause a lot of griefing. I was gonna say so it doesn't regrow there or something. Have a way to make it so.
Well, I would think that if you put a permanent block over the top, that would be the indication that it should not
Are
grow
there
another tree
permanent
there.
blocks in the game though?
Well, all of our blocks are.
Or is everything
I mean,
everything destructible?
well, everything's destructible, but if a block is placed down on a claim, you want stuff to regrow on your claim, but if a block is placed down, then that could just be the indication that trees should not grow there.
Like a
Unless-
barrier, yeah.
Unless you build huge siege weapons, it's gonna take you a long time just to break one wooden block. I mean, I think each wooden block is like.
That's not
2 or 3
true.
What is it? Well, how much HP does each block have? Like 3,000.
Yeah, something like that, and it takes about 2 minutes, 2 to 4 minutes to bust a block like that by hand.
True.
So
I'm just thinking about it in perspective of where we are. I guess.
I did that, and in less than 10 minutes, I'd taken 2 blocks out on a house that was built on the bridge, and I took 2 blocks out. I just walked through, and then I made 2 more blocks real quick and placed new blocks there, and then started attacking his crest. And then took the whole house down whenever I placed my own.
Plot twist: Marquis the Raider.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
that's another thing, Marky, you don't actually have to claim the land unless it's stone or a hitter. You can just replace the block, even though it's not your block. And then
I think you have
actually
to
pick up
place
the
the
block as well.
first original block for that to happen.
I'm not I've not played with that mechanic.
Wait, there's backpacks?
There is?
No.
I
No.
don't think there's backpacks. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Buccaneer brings up something. He says problem that people run around naked just to increase their inventory. Possible solution: wearing clothes actually increases your inventory. Well, yeah, actually, maybe that would be.
Yeah, kind of like DayZ. You put on a shirt and you gain like 4 extra pocket space or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I could see that.
I must admit, Marky, when you were saying it, I was a bit perplexed as to why that mechanic existed the way it did.
Yeah, as it stands right now, I don't wear anything because then I can hold more inventory. And if I'm just going out gathering resources, unless I'm in a PvP, I don't need to have any armor on. And maybe you're quicker. You're 5% quicker whenever you don't have any armor on, so maybe you don't want it too.
Well, you're 5% quicker when you don't have a full set of armor. So you can have steel, but then iron boots. You don't have any problem with your speed.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I like running around naked.
Yeah, same.
Do you have like a direct connection thing to the server, like the IP and stuff?
I
So you
do.
just try to connect. Because the lobby not working is going to make it hard to join.
Right.
But what if we say that?
But I'll take care of that after we're done with the roundtable.
Yeah.
So, and actually, you know what? I don't know. Maybe we don't want to give out the IP, because then the IP is subject to being DDoS'd.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we can't give out the IP. It's subject to being DDoS'd if we give out the IP. Whereas if the only way to connect to it is through the lobby. I mean, maybe there's other ways to figure it out, but I don't want to put our server through that.
Well, if you're in the server, you can probably use the console command to find the IP, but yeah, then you have to be whitelisted.
Right. So, yeah, we'll see if they come up with this. I don't have any ability to change the IP, so not unless we take the server down and reload. I don't want to do that. So, okay. So, I think that that PvP in this, it's a little bit hard to tell where you're hitting.
I should have known those alien maggots booby-trapped
other
this
people say that as
subscriber
well.
train.
It's a little bit irregular almost. Like you swing a little bit weird, and then the hitbox on the characters are. It's almost like it just needs to be tweaked a little bit, but I'm sure they're probably already working on that.
Hit
Yeah.
detection is one of the things that most new games have issue with.
Also, when you fire arrows and you're aiming using the crosshair, it's not actually entirely accurate. You have to kind of use like it's kind of to the side. So if you're trying to hit somebody within the crosshair, it doesn't actually hit them. An arrow is bound back and hit you as well.
Resilon
Yeah.
just brought up a really good point that I was thinking about too. I wouldn't mind having a little tiny, even if it's just a little dot, like a little crosshair, almost. I think that'd be
Well, you do for bow and arrow, and
Oh,
for
you do?
crossbow. Yes,
Okay, cool.
you don't for sword. I've played with the bows and arrows. I don't know that that's not by design, that they have a little bit of variance. I wondered whether or not I was seeing a wind effect, because sometimes they'd go straight, sometimes they go a little bit off, and so I wasn't sure if that was by design or not.
It seems like you've got to kind of work with the direction of which way your first arrow goes.
Mm-hmm.
So you hit one direction arrow, and then you just figure out, how to hit it. The center, which is kind of strange.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Raven, he doesn't have a possible solution with it, but he says that there's some blocks that cannot be removed.
Isn't that just when your crest isn't nearby or something like that?
Well, it is a bug. I don't know. I haven't run across it yet since Alpha 8. But previous to Alpha 8, we were running across that. In fact, there was a bunch of stuff out in the middle of our field that Lisa had built a big place out there, and then she had several things that she couldn't pick up. One workaround for your forge and for your other stuff when you can't pick it up is you put more materials in it for it to cook or for it to process, and then hit cancel when it's doing it midway, and all the stuck items in it appear. And then you can take all those items out of it, and then you can pick it up.
Those disappeared items, they did come back, but I'm unable to interact with any of them now. Like if it was a workbench, I can't open it up or move it. If it was a lamp, I can't open it or move it.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully
Yeah, my
if I just
Fletcher-
restart, that'll fix as well.
My Fletcher station disappeared.
It did come back. It's back now, Resilon, but it just can't be opened.
I have not had that bug myself, but I had encountered another bug with the crafting tables. For example, if you're making something in your tool station and it takes the resources, but it doesn't give you anything. And even if you cancel it, it doesn't give you the resources back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I found the only solution is to break the crafting table and replace it. I mean, it's quite simple, but it's still a bug.
Yeah. Yeah, those sound like bugs I'm not sure that we have solution for them other than to say, please fix.
Yeah.
Also, the sound bug for when somebody's using a two-handed weapon. So I've got it right now. I'm in the server and I can hear somebody with a two-handed weapon, but I can't see him. And surely, if he was using it and I could hear it, he would be within eye level of the horizon.
We have had a bug with sound where everybody lost certain sounds. Like all of us couldn't hear walking through water or chopping on trees. And it was kind of strange, that would, that all of us would have that same bug at the same time. Something server side. Again, no possible, suggestion other than gotta fix it. So,
Levitating, just random tools in the middle of the world, just chilling there.
Yeah, we had that happen today. Lisa had a two-handed sword, and she was fighting a werewolf, and we killed it, went to the house, come back, and right where she had been fighting it, there was a sword in midair. And those disappear after a little bit, but not sure what those are. why it happens.
Yeah, I've seen it as well many times today. I've never seen it before Alpha 8 though, so it must be a new bug.
Yeah. So, okay. What else? Do we have any other game mechanics that are a problem that need to be fixed? You know, maybe not necessarily bugs. I'm sure there's plenty of people turning in bugs.
I think the worst one the one that annoys me the most is the clothes taking up inventory space. I'm not a fan of that.
Me either.
And that might be by design too, that you have to give up something to, you know, in order for the, you know, having the extra protection.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what you get is just a bunch of naked guys running around, so...
I'm okay with that.
Welcome
I know my
to the
wife would say
Dragons.
that there's a problem that there's no female characters. It'd be nice to have female characters running around naked.
That's true.
You know,
Welcome to the
solution
Dragons.
is create female characters. So
It's like when she says, "Honey, I'm home," and it's a guy. It's a bit.
I know it feels strange. Yeah. So I've gotten kind of used to it, I guess, because there's so many games that they just don't have female characters.
Yes. Well, it's a lot of work to create another character model, for example. I mean, I don't think it's their first priority, since they're still in alpha.
Yeah.
They probably plan to implement it, but probably more towards the beta and open launch.
Yeah. Women are offended by it, though. The developers should know this. Women are offended when there's no female characters and they have to play a man.
I mean, I would assume so. Yeah.
So they actually, by not taking the time to do that, they alienate a part of their player base. And I know games like this, it's probably more men than women, but still they're you know, not being woman friendly.
Yeah. Well, to counteract this, you can still change certain body parts to look more female than
Right, she gives
they
her
should be.
stuff, you know, her male characters bigger breasts.
Yeah.
So, yes, I see that those of you watching live that Twitch is now having a problem. So, yeah, dropped frames on that. I apologize. Nothing I can do about that at the moment, guys. Hopefully the audio is still coming through just fine. So,
Are you locally recording this? Will
Yes.
you be uploading this?
yeah,
to
we'll
YouTube?
be putting this up in probably tomorrow on YouTube. So, okay, well, as far as other things that are actual problems that need to be fixed, there is you know, of course, the you know, the exploits. They're already working on that. We've managed to control a lot of that by whitelisting, and but of course we don't want to be doing that all the time. I'd rather just have it open to everybody and not have to worry about that. They are putting in VAC, which is the Steam anti-cheat. So as long as they stick with Steam, they'll be able to have that. So, okay. So, apparently there's a lot of places getting attacked right now. Who knows?
Yeah, your audio is still going through fine on the stream. It's just the image is shuddering.
Okay, good. So, you know, all you're seeing is my ugly mug anyway, so doesn't matter. Okay, any other gameplay issues that there's possible solutions to that you guys want to bring up?
Yes, I have one small thing.
Okay.
They probably already know about this, but it's a bug that I have not encountered myself, but I've seen other people having it. Is that they close a door, and it shows closed for them, but for me, it's still open, and I can still walk
yeah.
inside.
Oh, yeah.
And they can't walk inside.
Well, okay, so but that issue goes beyond just what you say, because my wife and I, sitting next to each other, playing, that I noticed that I can see some resources she can't, and vice versa. And when you can see them, you can mine them. When you can't see them, you can't mine them. So I had her. I'm like, okay, so there's a rock here, and see if you can just swing where the rock is and mine it at all. And she'd swing and it's just in the thin air, and I walk up to it and I swing the same way, and I hit it and I get resources. Which
they
means
might have some client-sized resource spawned.
Yes. So this is part of why there's so many exploits, is because some of this work that is important to gameplay balance is done on the client side. And the solution is to move that server side, possibly. I mean, I'm just talking out my ass here because I'm not a programmer. But if it's client side, it stands to be abused through memory editing or editing of the files and stuff. So,
welcome to the Dragons.
Yeah, well, it might just be a simple glitch. For example, it might be something with the rendering. I mean, I've seen it happen in other games.
Yeah, I don't think that they're the only one that's ever had this problem. I'm just saying that it appears to me when I see it to be something that is kind of a sign of exploitable. And we want to encourage the limitation of exploits as much as possible. Absolutely. So I'm glad they're putting in the anti-cheat. Too bad they had to be told to do so painfully. I was about ready to give up. If we didn't figure out a solution to this in another day or two, I'd have walked.
That's what I did in Rust, and it was just such a pain in the butt, but I'm glad we're actually figuring it out with Reign of Kings.
Yeah, I'm glad that they put all their resources towards this whitelist stuff. And there's still more whitelist stuff needed, and I'll get into that on our ideas. So, okay, any other problems with possible solutions? Okay, we'll continue on to ideas. So I think that it's pretty good to say, a fair statement would be that we're all here because we really love the game. And we see something in it, we're having a lot of fun, and we find value in it, and we want to continue playing. And so I want to take this time now to say, okay, here's some ideas we have to make the game a lot more fun, and for everyone. And so, JZ, you had mentioned something before. Do you want to bring that up again?
Sure. Sort of similar again to Rust, but when you get these kind of sandbox games and you can create guilds and stuff inside of them, the real fun is all player-made events, player-made games. You've already got your bases, all the game mechanics are in place, but what you guys can do with rules and some kind of, being strict with certain things, you can actually have a lot of fun. Like, we can schedule out events for certain days, like battles in the main field, faction v faction. I mean, the options are just endless.
So you're talking, part of this is like, you want some options added to the game for rules for private servers.
Yeah, but also even if the private servers or the people on the private servers can just have their own rules and just follow them, I mean, we pretty much have everything we need already just to go forward. I can't really think of what I'm trying to say, but just being organized and the people in the server following certain server rules, it can turn out to be a lot of fun.
So we made our rules to try and make the game more fun and everything, and so there's a couple parts to that. One is that there might be tools to allow us to put together events, because you're talking some about like these massive combat events and everything, which we might be able to actually build most of that ourselves in the game. But then there's also things like, one of the rules that we have is don't kill sleepers. And so the sleepers then, if there was just a check mark for the admin of the server saying, you can't kill sleepers, then unless they're on property they don't own, and because that's kind of the way we have the rule, and then we have then we also have another rule of you can't attack someone's home unless they're in the game. And that way, you don't get a bunch of people pummeling your house and everything when you have zero chance to defend it because you're not in the game. And I think that would be another easy mechanic to put in as an admin tool. A little switch to flip, saying don't allow the attacking of a home, unless the person's online. If they leave the doors open, maybe that's a whole different thing, that you can go in and you can steal all their shit. That's their own damn fault for leaving the doors open. Or a war declaration. Eve does that pretty good. But even with the war declaration, like the way Eve does it is your stuff, some of your assets can be attacked when you're not there, but your character can't be at all. Because your character's not there when you log off like it is in game here. So that's just something that I thought, that might be easy things to put in that are help make it a little bit more friendly.
See,
go ahead.
I like the idea of your character staying in the game because it gives a little more immersion factor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want your character to get killed, try to join a faction that has a decent player base and hide yourself inside.
Mm-hmm.
That way you're not found out. If you just sleep in the middle of a field, then fair game is what I'd say.
Yeah. Our current stuff, though, is you can only kill a sleeper if they're on property they don't own. Meaning that you find a sleeper on your property and it's not you. So
that got me thinking. I would like to see being able to write stuff down in game, almost on like a little parchment. It doesn't have to be anything serious. Just like it pulls a little thing up and lets you type something in, and then you can drop it. Maybe even like leave notes at someone's base, like out front.
We used to do that in UO.
Pretty cool.
We used to leave books at people's doorsteps and stuff. And then in Minecraft, you're able to put signs up on the walls.
I saw that in Minecraft. I never got to try UO, but I have seen that in Minecraft.
Mm-hmm. We've wanted to label our chests. Yeah, we've definitely wanted to label our chests. Another thing might be to be able to dye a chest or whatnot, so that your chests that are all for food stuff or whatnot is in one, and ore and stuff is in another, and maybe you can color associate. So those would be fun. Something that I want to see for an admin, one of the pain points that I'm really having is that when you give admin access to someone in the server, you have to really, really trust them. And because admin is like God. There's all kinds of things I can do as admin. I can make myself invulnerable. I can give myself any item in the game. I can make myself fly. I can make myself not be hungry or thirsty. And I can teleport all over the place. And I don't do any of this stuff, but I'm just saying these are all the options that an admin account has. And we want to be able to add more people to the server, and I haven't wanted to just give out admin to anybody because I'm afraid of it being abused, even by people who you wouldn't think would abuse it. And I guess I'm just a little bit gun-shy on that because I've seen it so many times to where people get hired as GMs in games and then they do things that they're not supposed to. It's happened to almost all MMOs.
I was going to say, so you want different levels of moderation?
Yeah, I think so. I certainly would love it if I could put moderators or something like that in-game, and a mod can put people on the whitelist, and a mod can ban people or remove them from the whitelist. And then there's just a log that a higher-up admin can review in case someone comes to you and says, I don't know why this happened, and you can look into it.
Give them titles so it keeps within roleplay, like Lord, Baron.
Oh, that would be awesome. I did want to. That brings up. I did want to make someone a knight earlier today, who was being very friendly and handing me stuff and helping me out. Is Sir Eckberg, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could make him Sir Eckberg instead of Mr. Eckberg? But I don't have the ability to do that.
Well, this is not really a solution to the problem, but I kind of have ability to do that because there's a potion you can drink and you can change your name, your appearance, for example.
Right. So you could change your name. So I could then tell you you've been knighted, and then you could go up, and I could hand you a potion.
Yeah, for example.
Yeah.
But then I would. Yeah, but then I would have to go into the Steam forum and change the. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. Maybe I'll carry around those potions when I'm king or something like that.
We'll
They're
never
a bit
let you be
expensive.
king, Marcus.
You'll
What's
never
that?
be king.
I'll never be king?
You'll never be king.
Ooh,
Nope.
that would be fun too. Alchemy.
Remember what happened when you set it to 20%, like when we first got the server up? We were there instantly.
What are you saying? I was king for an hour and a half earlier today.
And then I
That's
took it
because
from
I
you.
haven't been on today, so...
Oh,
Cam hasn't
okay.
been on
Okay,
either,
okay. I get it. Never going to be king again. So, as far as whitelisting as well, I want something. Either I want my host for the game to create this, or I want the game company to create this, or I want Steam to create this. But I would love it if I could say anybody who has access to a private area in Steam automatically has access to the server. And so then myself and the officers can look at that list right there, and we can add and remove people as we want and make it real easy to administer. As it stands right now, the most painful thing people are having problems with is finding their Steam community ID. And the most painful thing I'm having problems with is only half the people actually read the instructions in a single paragraph that I put in there on how to get the Steam ID, community ID. Half the people gave me just a URL. And then I have to go in and dig for it. And half the people were trying to give me a URL to their Steam account, and it was wrong. It's their own frickin' page, and they don't even get it right. And I don't know why that is. I'm not saying people are dumb or anything. I think that it's just a little bit more complex than it should be. And so I would really love it if there was some tool or something, even if somebody's a programmer and did up a web page that says that, where we say, okay, here's the list of people who have applied. They've applied on this web page. It links to their Steam. It gives me the proper thing and allows us to manage that. Some sort of guild tool or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a programmer, but you could probably write a bot to, for example, having people just post their Steam URLs and having a bot checking them, then giving you their ID automatically, and even whitelisting them automatically if you want that.
Right. Yeah. And I've thought about that, and I would like to see that. I don't know that Reign of Kings that we're going to be playing it 6 months from now. There might be other newer, better things out. I see this as maybe something that we're going to play for 2 or 3 months, and then we'll be on to something else. And that'll kind of just happen naturally, that our attention will wane and be, there'll be, Reign of Dragons. Or something like that comes out, and that we're all playing that next. I'm
hoping for Mountain Blade Bannerlords.
But if someone could make something that would interact with the Steam group, and so like these forums, we're able to set only particular people are able to see them, like members or whatever. If there was something there that where we could set on people that they're in the trusted list, then I would totally be for that. And I'm trying to think beyond just this game, because there's a lot of other games that could benefit from something like this as well. I'm having so much fun doing our own server. It's such a pain in the ass, but I'm having so much fun at the same time that I'm totally, if we can figure this stuff out to make it easy, then we should have more games where we have servers of our own that we're playing. stuff like this. So.
Yeah, Mark, it's just like a spreadsheet on the internet where you can see all the whitelists and so on. Only a few persons can edit it like that.
Yeah, right now the simplest thing would be to make another control level, because right now there's player and there's admin, and that's pretty much it on the servers.
Oh yeah.
If we could make a third one that's moderator, and that mods could add and remove people, that would be a huge help to me. Because right now I'm stressing over, everybody, they post their stuff, and I kid you not, that especially the younger crowd, they post in there that they want access, and I've committed to trying to check a couple of times a day on that, but they know my Skype, so they Skype message me. They find my email, so they email me. They Twitch message me, and all of these things saying, "Hey, I've applied," and I'm like going, "Holy shit!" This is why I only have certain lines of communication, because I get too much. And it just slows me down. So if I could help spread the load on that, I really want to do that. And right now, I think my only option is that I'm going to ask a couple of people to be admins. But when we ask people to be admins, we have to have some sort of oversight on them as well. So.
Your mercenary. Could be your admins.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, it could be easy for you just to maybe make a spreadsheet on the internet where you can just put in the whitelists, so it's not just this game, but different games as well. So the one that you trust people don't have to request every time, whatever game it is. So you're able to see what they are and they want. It's pretty easy to set up. It's free, but still it cannot communicate with the game itself. It's just a Word document, Excel, whatever.
We'll figure it out. We'll keep going. These are all ideas that I hope that my hope is that the devs, will maybe listen to this while they're working on their stuff, and they'll hear a couple of things that is easy, low-hanging fruit they can pick off and implement, and then they will. We've done this many times with many different games, and it's been to really good effect. So there's been several game changes that we recommended in one of these, and they put it in, and we don't need any credit or anything like that. We just love the game and want improvement in it. So. Okay, what about other ideas? What other ideas have you guys got? And feel free to think outside the box. I mean, think big.
Well, a very small idea that I have. For example, it's not even an idea. It's just a little fix or a tweak. For example, the bears rock. I find them very weak. Only having to shoot like 11 javelins at them and they die.
Okay.
But for example, the wolves are much stronger. For example. That's just a thing that I find a little bit. You might want to tweak it a bit.
A tweak. Okay.
It's not important, but yeah.
Anybody else have any ideas on stuff they would like to see added to the game?
The resources should spawn up different places.
Yes.
So just randomly on the map. Maybe 1 or 2 places where there locally is, but just random. So it's not like people can stand in the resource and just camp them.
Right.
Random events would be a good thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. So let's talk a little bit about randomness, because I think there's a lot of stuff we can suggest here. Resources, even like the trees and everything. I mean, that big field that's out in the middle that's all clear. I mean, I could totally see it where there's an event that happens that over a couple of hours the whole thing gets forested, and that happens, once a week or something like that. And people are going like, holy shit, what's going on? And we all chop them down because they're in our way. But, the rocks and the iron, they all spawn at static locations. And it would make sense to have regions of where they may spawn in, kind of geographic regions that make sense. And
yeah, definitely.
and so you have to hunt around that region, and they shouldn't spawn inside someone's home. And if the land is covered where it normally would spawn, then it just spawns somewhere else.
Yeah, it's just like the trees.
I know a couple things I was thinking of that might be like in Rust, how they had airdrops, whatever. Maybe eventually at some point, if they add NPCs. Traveling caravans or something that you could raid, or something like that.
That would be fun.
Or invading armies that threaten the whole of the server, so you have to band together as factions that were once enemies to defend against them.
Okay.
Traveling wolf packs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plagued villagers could, 5 or 6 of them go wandering off in a group. Yes, I did notice that, and maybe it's just I didn't notice, but I think werewolves from our first installation, I can tell you that our server is assigned a number. It's like a land number, and the number that we were first assigned is way different than the number that we were assigned after we reloaded the server, and I think that a few things changed. Like the werewolves, I saw them start spawning in an area that I'd never seen before. And maybe I just hadn't noticed them before. But maybe that's like the first step in getting things to be a little bit more random. Yeah.
Though I believe since the map is so small at the moment, they might even have plans to expand the map and then... adding regions for different resources.
So let's talk about the map, because we've talked about having so iron is here, and we've talked about iron being against dragons, and we've talked about Chronic and his crew being another one. Jay-Z, even though he's not a streamer, has put together a group that appears to be only out to kill dragons, and
whoever's got the most loot, mainly.
An idea for taking, let's say that there's like 4 primary groups on a server, and then independents. But it would be fun if we could pre-set up, the Iron Guild, the Dragon Guild, the Dragon Slayers Guild, and the Chronic Guild, or whatever. And have these 4 groups, and then segmented areas of control. That these are the kind of areas that you start out in, and you kind of keep your stuff together, and then that way, it could be some other rules of, you guys got to work together to build defenses around your whole encampment, or whatever, as a group. And maybe you can even be attacked when you're offline or whatever, as long as some of your members are online. And where we can, do some warfare like that, maybe even have some stats of, blocks destroyed, or, loot taken, or kills made, stuff like that. And that so when person logs in, they can choose which group they're a part of, and then, or they can choose to be independent, because I could see a reason to have independence in as well, and that people can move around in there, and maybe it becomes like kind of like in Crowfall, kind of what they're building there, of a campaign that lasts a month, and it's these different groups vying for control and power, and it could almost be something like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. I like the idea. Somebody suggested making these giant walls that nobody could get past at the beginning, with my admin powers, and then And then after that, after a certain time of everybody building up or whatnot, we all go to war with each other.
That'd be kind of fun.
It could be fun. I'm not sure that I want to destroy what we've got built currently to try that. I suppose, though, if we built up a really big following to where we added like a second server, that we could have, we could try that on a second server.
Yeah.
It'd be fun as an experiment.
Yeah, and if, for example, there's another update and they recommend that we reset the server, we might be able to try it, for example.
I think we could. But we have to be more organized. So it's yet to be seen how many people Iron brings in. I know Jay-Z has had several people coalesce around him. I know that if I started recruiting, I could get a few. The problem, too, is balance.
I'll probably be joining you there, Marky.
I worry that because of my influence, because I'm the primary streamer putting this together, whatnot, that
Welcome
I could end
to
up
the
with half
Dragons.
of the, the players.
People.
And I don't want that. I don't want it to be overbearing where we just go and we just murder everybody.
Welcome to the
I
Dragons.
want it to be a fight. I want it to be a struggle. And I want it to be that way on both sides.
Well, for example...
That's why I was thinking I would just stay a mercenary until we figure out how the balance goes, and I'll just kind of go to the side that needs the help.
Yeah. But for example, for the dragons, sure, they might be the largest group, but for example, if they have to defend a large area, it gets harder, for example.
Right.
Especially if they're defending against two different factions at once.
I would
Yeah.
love it if we each had our own servers, and then we had predetermined periods of time where we try and where two servers connect, and both sides will be at a war zone, trying to gain control to go in and pillage the other side. That could be fun. That's another way that could be done. Maybe like the old Viking days where they'd go and raid another tribe.
You'd have to have like a resource pack for everyone that joined the server for the raid to give them something to start with. If you wanted to have the war that day. Just have,
Oh
like, a
well,
couple chests
and,
and
I
stuff
was
that you
thinking
can
more like everybody builds for a week, and then we have some predetermined times where the gates are down where we can see each other and go to war.
Yeah.
That's probably not going to happen, but that's just the kind of out of box thinking. So I want to bring up some other stuff that I'm seeing in chat here that we haven't hit on yet. Guild ranking, to where a guild leader could give the titles to their guild members. Maybe something where they could only give titles when they are king, or when the king is within their guild. Gives them more reason to take the throne, because people want that. Let's see here. Pickpocketing. I think that would be great. I don't know if any of you remember that from the UO days, but you'd be sitting there talking to somebody who might be your enemy, and even though you're not battling each other, you were talking to each other, being friendly, and then you would leave and you'd find out that they stole all your shit while you were talking.
I love sneaking up on people in DayZ and raiding their backpacks.
And as long as it should give you some sort of sign that it's happened, because it does need to be sneaky, but you need to know it's not a bug. And so maybe a message pops up, a minute after the interaction or whatnot, when the person has left, and it says, you realize that so-and-so may have stolen some items from you, or something like that.
Or now that you've started back on your way, you feel lighter.
Right. Fishing. I would love to do fishing as a resource. I fished in WoW, I fished in UO, and it was a great way to kind of casually play, just like mining in Eve. A lot of people say it's very relaxing. Not me. I'm always getting ganked, but you know.
You're mining in the wrong place then.
Yeah. Let's see here. Buccaneer has a good one. He says he'd like to see more incentives for people playing in groups instead of solo. For example, monsters that are hard to solo and give valuable loot or tools that require multiple players to make harvesting faster.
Like mini bosses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Fishing and harvesting would, and like growing crops would be quite a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I could see, you know, that something would require 2 or 3 players to work together for, you know, even if it's just 5 minutes of everybody having to stand around something and perform some sort of action, maybe to plow the land, but also at the same time, you're vulnerable when you do that. Kind of like when you replace your crest.
I want some like tanning or clothes crafting because I want to wear like a wolf pelt on my head.
Welcome to the Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice if they added the ability to tame and breed animals and maybe some dairy products even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To supplement the water.
Right. So, bard skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds cool.
Merchant and currency.
Currency.
Yeah.
And we'd use the currency so that we could, you know, I guess.
Barter for goods between factions in peacetime.
Mm-hmm.
That would give incentive for trade and all that stuff. That would be neat.
We have currency already.
Technically, yeah, you could do a barter system and just trade resources.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that we already have a currency, you know, which could be, you know, probably the item that's hardest to come by is oil. And, you know, so the currency might be oil, or it might be the $100 bill, whereas stone would be the 10.
Or maybe, for example, diamonds for Terror of the Gods when they get some more uses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
Or you.
isn't it just between the traders to decide what stuff is worth and be like, okay, we trade stone to wood for like 1, 2, 3 or something like that?
Yes.
I would like more armor metal choices too, because I like copper armor.
Well,
it's lighter.
I think that, yeah. So yes, on the armor to be able to make changes to it, but back to the currency thing. I think that just, you know, knowing how much you want to trade for and bartering, we do have currency, and you know, there's other games where there's a history of that. You know, like Habbo Hotel, they used a particular type of chair, I think it was, for currency because they were hard to come by, and people wanted them for whatever reason, but the chair became the currency for buying other things because there was no currency in the game. So.
Well, for example, in medieval times, you didn't really use coins that much. For example, in the 1500s, I mean, richer people used coin to buy a lot of stuff at once. But for example, small town people used to trade, for example, 1 chicken for maybe a loaf of
a
bread.
bag of flour and a
Yeah, a bag
bushel
of
of
flour.
carrots.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So coin system isn't really, I mean, it's not really necessary, but it could be nice.
Yeah, I think it's fine the way it is. That's just my opinion. But if they put in currency, I'd use it. Okay. What other ideas do we have? Awesome.
Ideas just in general or for something specific? I wasn't listening, sorry.
Oh yeah, well it's just you know, any other improvements that could be added to the game to make it
I have
more fun.
I have one thing that I would love to see, that people are unable to build like on the King's Hill, like at the top or around it, so they can build like roads to it. Because it's a really fun place to make some good PvP, I think, and so people just doesn't make super huge walls there.
I do know that. Okay, so we had that problem where everything got walled up. Previously, we did find that we were able to build on the outside of it to get outside of the. There was a crest in there, and we were able to build beyond that and up and drop in the top. But I don't know if that was because the crest was small and it just didn't reach to the side where we did that at or not. And I did see just before we wiped the server, when I was doing a fly around, and I saw that there was 2 or 3 bridges that had been built out to the King's Castle, and so, but these bridges were not realistic. They had nothing holding them up. They were just floating in air, and they were just all these wood blocks all in a row out there, very unrealistic. And I would like to see that not be possible. It'd be good to not have floating blocks, that they have some weight and there has to be something supporting them. What is it? Is it 7 Days to Die? The one where you can build underground, and if you make the cavern too big, the ceiling will collapse?
Yeah.
Something like that, where you can make a span go across, but it has to be of a material that supports it.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you, but I don't think they should add similar physics as 7 Days to Die, because I think it would be too complex. Maybe something simple that if you have, for example, a wood block, you can build maybe 7 blocks out without any supports, and if you have the reinforced, you could build 10. Until you need connection to the ground, for example.
Right. And that's fine, I'm good either way. I just didn't like seeing all that stuff floating out there in the air.
In Rust, that you had to have the pillars underneath to build the floor.
Yeah.
I was fine with something like that because that made sense. Just seeing a wood panel stick out a ways doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And that is one of the rules that we have on the server, is that structures must be realistic. And so we can't have a floating fortress. And they've resolved part of that with the in-game mechanics, that the crest has to be within 10 squares of the ground.
Yeah.
So, there's another one in chat that says, I think it's Hijinks is how you pronounce his name there. He says grave markers. So when somebody dies, maybe a grave marker is there. Maybe it appears there for an hour or something like that. That'd be really a lot of fun when we have some epic battles in a field. And
keeping their heads as a trophy.
I would love to mount people's heads on my house. No, I'm serious. I can chop their head off. I want to be able to pick it up, and I want to stick it on a stake out along the creneals of my castle.
Can we eat people as well?
Be like a big barbarian guy with skulls on the spikes on your shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Also, I reckon we should get a random event where an NPC enemy faction comes onto the server, and they try and siege one of the other castles, and we have to take them on and beat them up. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, Marky, about this, you mentioned the graves. A little bit adding to that. Maybe, for example, the graves telling when they died, how they died, and who they were slain by, for example.
Oh yeah. Slain by so and so. Yeah. I wouldn't want them to be permanent, because we'd be littered with them everywhere. We did have that in Infestation or War Z, where they started putting grave markers there, and sometimes when you had big battles, you'd start to get some lag because of all the grave markers.
Yeah, I think they should be able to do it so that it despawns
Rabbit!
after
I
maybe
wanna
like
get that
half an
rabbit.
hour, or you can destroy it and it has like 1000 health, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like the one guy in the chat there. Has anyone mentioned fire physics? I want to burn wooden houses down.
Oh, goodness.
But the problem is you start
Burning
with
arrows.
castles, so it's like you're gonna be, excuse my bad language, but fucked instantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That sounds like a lot of fun. I worry about it being OP.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and
because making 100% stone castle is really hard.
Yeah, especially with the there's the resource costs are higher now. So.
And with the, for example, now the resource cost is higher, as you said. I've heard that they're actually planning to increase it even more. I don't know if it's true, but
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they'll balance it out to whatever is fun. Risk versus reward.
Can I just say, can
Yeah.
they stop making the animals so OP? My god, I shouldn't have to kill a rabbit and it take like 5 or 6 hours.
You're
Welcome
using the
to
wrong
the
weapon.
Dragons.
I kill rabbits in one hit.
You should be able to kill rabbits in one hit with a bow too.
Yeah, I hit it twice with a bow
Welcome
and
to
it
the
didn't
Dragons.
even scratch it. Scratched it, but I was still having to chase it halfway across the map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are very hard to hit. We should be playing Benny Hill music every time we go after a rabbit.
You know, that popped into my head just before you said it.
Yeah. So, okay, well, I think that'll probably about wrap it up. We're over an hour now on this, so anyway, think about we'll put this out there. We'll see if the developers do anything. If they do, we'll probably at some point schedule another one of these roundtables, and until then, we'll just see what happens. Have fun in the game while it's while it's here, and hopefully they keep coming out with the content and bug fixes quickly, and we can all have a great time. So,
One other thing is, absolutely ridiculously addictive game, and I love it.
okay, so Resalon says this is crack on pixels. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you everybody in chat. And that is it. So we'll send this over to the developers and we'll see if they do anything with it. So thank you all for participating. I appreciate all your feedback and everything. So we shall catch everyone on the show tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, you too.
See you later for
Oh
some
no,
dragon
the
hunting.
war horn has been initiated.
Yes. Okay. So we will see you all later. And devs, do let me know if you guys actually do look at this. And if you enjoyed it and found it of value, then let me know, and we'll schedule some more in the future. So I'm Marky Dragon. Take care, everybody.